Now, let me first say that the only way you can coexist with the European is as a second-class citizen. There will be no coexistence with African and European unless you are a second-class citizen. In the United States, you are a second-class, and I would argue, a zero-class citizen. In the United Kingdom, you are a second-class citizen. South Africa, Australia, Brazil, wherever the European has the ability to dictate the economic and political reality of African people, you are never treated, nor will you ever be treated as an equal, because he is unable to allow the African, the original child of the planet Earth, the African, to coexist on equal terms, because he understands coexistence for the African means marginalization of the European, not by virtue of military dictatorship, but by virtue of intellectual, cultural, and genetic advantage. Whenever the African is given an equal opportunity to succeed, he always ends up on top. This is the purpose of racism. Let me say it again. Racism does not exist because white people are superior. Racism exists because Europeans understand if you give the African an equal opportunity, more often than not, he will succeed because he is the first and the original child of the Most High. Do you understand? But the point that I'm making, integrationists are mentally ill. To constantly try to force yourself into another person's reality because you're too lazy to build a reality of your own is sick. Constantly trying to force yourself into another person's reality when you are not wanted is insanity. African people must create our own reality. You cannot be a dependent on another group's reality. The Most Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey told us this. The Most Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey already told you that a race that depends upon another for its existence sooner or later will die. But the entire agenda of the Congressional Black Caucus, the entire agenda of the NAACP, the entire agenda of the Urban League, the entire agenda of 99.9% of all community organizations is to beg the white man to be accepted, and it is to force you to force yourself into a place where you are not wanted, when you should be building your own reality. And the problem is that we are able to create our own reality. We do not need to be a secondary part of a European so-called civilization. Create your own before you be starved into extermination. The black man and woman of America, the black man and woman of Europe, of Canada, of Brazil, you are going to be starved into extermination if you do not do something for yourself. The writing is already on the wall. America is already turning up the pressure. You are being replaced by other non-white people. Why are you being replaced by other non-white people? Because you are the only non-white people who cannot be deported. You cannot deport African Americans back to Africa because the white man has induced us into self-hatred, and in doing so, he has undone the natural, cultural, historical, genealogical, ancestral connection to the mother continent. Black people in America don't feel African. That's why you have all these groups trying to convince you that you're not African, because they hate being black. And if you notice, the leaders of the We Ain't From Africa group, damn near everyone is a light-skinned supremacist. Let me say this again. Let me say this again. If you look at the leading proponents of the We Ain't From Africa movement, all of the leaders are light-skinned supremacists. So you should be able to understand why they want nothing to do with Africa. Because they are light enough where they think they can make it, brothers and sisters. I want you to understand, overstand, and understand me.